is going on, guys? Joey Franzo here at Flex Training Systems, and today we're going to break down our boy, Jonathan Cayco. We're going to break down his full meet. Actually, only his thirds because I don't have video of everything, and it would take me way too long to get it. But that's okay. I just want to kind of talk about the main takeaways from his competition. I think for anyone that has been stuck in the bunker, this is a great example of what happens when you just have this like impossible mental resolve and you just get your work done day in and day out. We were a little bit limited on some of the things that I would like to have him use for training, but we did our best and we were able to PR every lift, squat, bench, and deadlift. Um, this is a unofficial world record total, unofficial world record bench, and yeah, honestly, I couldn't. I'm very happy with what we did. I think he had a little bit more in the tank on bench and squat, but there's a reason for that, and I'll kind of break it down. I'm just gonna go based off his Instagram, um, and I'll just kind of let his lifts play a couple times before I get to my specific talking points. That being said, he squatted 672, and it was pretty difficult. He didn't complain, but he did tell me that squatting at home in the garage. For those of you that don't know, your garage floor is built for water drainage, so it's gonna have a slant. And I can agree because the first time I had an opportunity to train outside of my garage, I felt incredible DOMs as like I was working my legs and my back in ways that I had not worked in the bunker, if that makes sense. Um, so by training in the bunker and kind of being stuck, with just that, like we only have squats, right? And split squats basically. Those are like the only movements that we really had. How do I get somebody strong? How do I increase their lifts while managing fatigue? Keeping in mind that his ground is not even, things like that. He can't really go super heavy. He doesn't really have a spotter or anything. These are all important things, right? Um, we did the best that we could. We went through our normal progressions. Typically during a prep for Keiko, I like to have him use, um, some kind of a leg press, some kind of a belt squat, something like that. Just a little bit extra direct leg work because, I mean, I'll let it play for you guys. If you guys look at how he squats, his back is so like overly dominant, his posterior chain, that like that's just what he's gonna default to. Also, just kind of like the way he's built. If you look how much he has to bend over, his chest is literally touching his knees. Um, so like look at how much knee flexion there is and how far his knees go over his toes is not that much. So the squat is not the best. It's just not the best movement for him to build his legs. Like he's gonna build legs, of course you're gonna get some stimulus in your legs. It's just not the best thing. There's for sure 100% there's gonna be better things. Um, Sorry about that. There's gonna be better things for sure, and we didn't have that. Um, so we just kind of went through our normal progression, and then he did cut weight. It wasn't too bad. It was like five pounds, something like that. The scale at the meet was heavy, he was telling me, so I believe he had to, maybe he was actually lighter and he had to cut a little more than normal, which is unfortunate. But I mean, your legs are usually gonna take a little bit to come back to you. Unfortunately, squats are the first lift of the day. There's nothing you can really do about it. That's just how powerlifting meets go. Um, but so he's probably a combination of a little bit of the cut messing with him, and then like I said, we had to we have to train deadlift, squat, and bench, and I can't really overload his legs with just a bar and a rack. I don't want to give him front squats. I don't want to give him you know a different bar position. I would prefer to just directly isolate the legs. We didn't really have that in any meaningful way. I'm not going to have him load up split squats ridiculously heavy. So we're able to come away with a small PR, training on a slanted ground. He had to cut weight, training in the bunker, no spotters, which is gonna, when you're getting up there in weight and you don't have anyone to kind of be around you, It is limiting. I will say from personal experience, especially with me, it is limiting. Um, if I know that I can't go heavy with spotters, I'm just not gonna get close to that weight. I'm not even gonna risk it. But I will take the 5 pound PR. It was difficult, a little bit difficult, but his depth was great. I'm really happy with it. And squats kind of set up your whole day. Your momentum's gonna carry into your other lifts. Um, so I'll take the small win there. Anytime I can take a small win on squat, I'm happy. So coming into the bench press, his bench press had absolutely blown up over our time in the bunker. Um, if I could talk a little bit about his training, he got new benches to mimic what he was going to have on meet day, and he did everything that he could at home just to be able to really focus on mimicking meet day. Again, the slanted ground isn't going to be that big of a difference on bench as much as it is on squat. But I will say, because we had to be so specific in training, like we don't have dumbbells, we didn't have, incline bench, we didn't have anything other than like comp bench, close grip bench. I think I might have given him Spotos, like soft touch. You call it t-shirt touch, like you're barely, touching here and there. But essentially, I had two movements, and it was comp bench and close grip bench. That was it. That was all we had. We didn't have nothing else. Occasional overhead press here and there. Um, and that was all we had to work his bench. So it looks like the extra specificity really went a long way. He didn't gain weight; he actually lost weight throughout this last year. So, I mean, it's not like we can say, oh, it was due to weight gain or whatever. So I'm really happy. I'm really happy with that. I'm honestly very very happy um, that we were kind of forced into just being super specific on bench, and we got a really really good result with it. The main focus was actually just kind of making sure his butt was down. Again, we're going through our normal progressions. The way I like to train people, once you get familiar with what I want, we're kind of doing similar things, but the weights are going up as time goes on. We're not really changing anything crazy. We're doubling down on our strengths and really just trying to um, just build up as best we can, and it really worked out, and it really paid off. So specificity on bench was a great thing. Um, really focusing on the setup and making sure that we're nice and stable. And then I mean, I'll recap all of it at the end. Uh, so yeah, bench was great. 534-pound American record, unofficial world and American record. On his opener bench, I noticed that he was not as stable, and it looked like his butt might have been up a little bit. He was able to correct it on the second, but we did take a big jump. Took a big jump, and then on his third, he was able to put it all together, make sure his setup was solid, and then because the jump from the opener to the second attempt was so big, it's a little bit jarring. But once you actually hit that second attempt and then take a smaller jump, um, it just really came together, and it showed on his third. And I think he probably could have eked out 5 more pounds if we absolutely needed it. Maybe in a future competition or something, we do that. Honestly, for nationals, we don't need to really hit PR. We could just hit this again. Um, that was a great solid pause too. Shout out to the judges. Like, because if we do it at nationals, we'll actually get the American record, so that'll be nice. Um, Moving into deadlift, again, we didn't have any accessories to really focus on the legs, so we just kind of doubled down on squatting and deadlifting. And both of those lifts are going to complement each other. If you want to look at it like the squat is a great deadlift accessory, it paid off tremendously. A whole year of training in the bunker, staying in the pocket. Man, we only went over 700 in training a couple times. Now that I think about it, man, in a course of a year, probably less than, I don't know, like 10 times, 5 to 10 times, something like that. I don't have to go back and look, but I would say once every 12 weeks, twice every 12 weeks, he's probably hitting something closer to 7. Um, but I was very, very happy with this. His grip was phenomenal. There was like one time in training where I was like I was like, yo, we need to focus on grip. But he's got very strong grip. Super, 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 super solid 760 pull here. I definitely think he had more. I mean, you guys could tell me in the comments down below. I know 5 pounds, 100%. If he needed to grind, maybe another 5 keys if we're going for the win or something. But it's really nice to just come into deadlifts and this just tells me, like, the cut probably did mess with him a little bit. He did have to wait a while. I forgot to mention he had to wait a while before he could weigh in, and his legs finally came back to him. He was pumping that Gatorade. We had the double tri-orals immediately after weigh-ins. Gatorade, water, just staying hydrated, all that stuff. And thank you so much for the follow. And yeah, he just blew it up. Absolutely blew it up. Super happy with it. Again, like, it just goes to show you that we built this total and we didn't really have accessories. Like, we didn't. We didn't. We absolutely didn't. Um, we just have a bar and a rack, and I think we got a cable pulley system, but there's very minimal things we could do with it because of just like how the weights are set up. Yeah, 760 total. He didn't get down on himself. He kept training through lockdown. He did everything he needed to do to put it together, and he was able to just raise the bar. You know, and stay ahead of the pack, and especially in this sport, the way things are going, if you're not continuously improving, you're literally falling behind. If you're staying the same, you're falling behind, right? Um, so I mean, we just got to keep moving that goalpost forward, moving that goalpost forward. Hopefully, we can get him into a gym um, and really hammer legs. I want to bring that squat up. I know he can squat 700. Um, I'll be happy with the 5 to 10 pound PR, and that's bench, same thing. Deadlift, same thing. Now we're ahead. We just gotta keep inching it forward, keep inching it forward. Stay healthy. Don't get ahead of ourselves. Don't get hurt. Continue to stay in the pocket. Continue listening to the body. Go watch my last video. I kind of break all that stuff down, and yeah, that just goes to show you, man. Bunker. No, really no accessories. That just goes to show also, once you're past a certain point, you're getting severely diminished returns from your accessory movements, um, because you're gonna need that specificity. Like, you have so much recovery, you're gonna need to put it into what got you, what you're doing. You don't really have too much extra energy to work on other little tiny things. Although we do our best to, kind of stay well rounded. There was something I want to say. Oh yeah, the takeaways. So the takeaways from I should have put it down there, but basically on squat, what were we reminded of? We were reminded of that if you squat like a taco, you could probably benefit tremendously from direct leg work, right? We still hit a PR, but combination, it could also be the weight cut, but I didn't get to isolate the legs as much as I would have. I'm not saying everybody needs to do that. If you're like me, Russ, and Amanda, you don't really need to do leg accessories, right? Everybody's different. This is for this person in front of me, right? Not everybody else. On bench, specificity is king. Comp bench, close grip bench. When you need a break from a barbell, hit the dumbbells. I really don't need to overthink it. You're not really going to go wrong there. Practice your pauses, do high rep sets to work on your core and your setup, and you'll be solid. And then with deadlift, I mean, deadlift builds deadlift, squat builds deadlift. You know, like, that's pretty self-explanatory. Honestly, conventional deadlift, when you have the technique down, it's a money lift. It's very reliable. Imagine if you're just focusing on recovery and you never have to worry about form. You never have to worry about it, right? So, I mean, he does have his cadence. He does have, his little setup that he does in the beginning, where he does that little wiggle that you guys like to meme, like he's doing right here. But that helps him kind of get into position and make sure that he gets his hand set, he gets locked in, and he kind of, it's like, once you start that little, everybody has a kind of thing that they do at the start of deadlifts. Everything else is automatic. You don't even need to think about it. So that's it. John Cayco, 93 kg. Really sorry that he didn't get to go to Worlds, but we're gonna make the best of it. We're gonna retake that national title. I mean, he still has it, but we're gonna do it again. We're gonna win it again, and then we'll just go from here. If Worlds happens, we'll do Worlds. If it doesn't happen, then we'll just stay. We'll continue to push the bar. I think 2K is gonna happen. It's just a matter of time, and that's something that really gets me fired up. It really gets me excited. To be the, I don't think any other 93 kg lifter has ever done that. So, I mean, this is obviously world record. So yeah, they haven't. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Go shout Cayco, follow Cayco. I'll put his stuff. I mean, his IG's right here on the page. Um, shout out to, let's just go down the post. Iron Office Gym. Shout out to Go Strong Equipment. All the boys here, Nina, Tina, Mikey, Will, everybody that came out, all the Flex boys, all the Cayco boys. Shout out to SBD, right? And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.